I slept so good last night. Boom, sleep score. Awesome. We are going out sailing today. It's Saturday, October 11th, 8:30 a.m. I've got about an hour and a half before my sailing class. So get a coffee, breakfast. I got to prep a little bit, get some snacks, pack a water bottle, that sort of thing. Make sure I've got a string to attach the camera to, but super psyched to get out and check out that sailing class. So I'm going to start getting ready and we'll see you out there. We're doubling up this morning. Spinach on the breakfast sandwich, spinach ball in my mouth. We are off, driving down to Port San Luis in Avila Beach. Gonna go meet up with my dad, and we're gonna go meet this stranger who's gonna show us how to sail his boat. Psyched. I've always thought that sailing was really cool. I'm pretty excited to actually learn how to do it. There's a movie that I watched a long time ago, and it's a surfer who's kind of trying to retrace the steps that Yvon Chouinard and friends took going down to Patagonia, but he does it a little bit differently, and he sails a boat down there instead. And I remember becoming totally enamored with the idea of sailing as a mode of transportation and adventure. So this is definitely a big bucket list item for me. I can't lie, I've been looking at boats on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. No chance I buy anything soon, but getting the skills under my belt and being able to do that definitely opens up a lot of cool new ways to go exploring.
Now that you know the rules, feel free to break them, but try not to break our neck.
What a day. Leaving Port San Luis right now. God, that was so much fun. You know, the guy who's teaching this class is a trip. His name is Owen, I think. And he's hard of hearing. He also talks really quietly, and it's loud out there on the boat. And we sort of just jumped right into it. Like, no safety briefing, like what happens if Owen, the only guy who knows how to sail, falls off the boat. No, nothing. We just taxied out there, got on the boat, and started sailing, and it was super fun, but also got a little bit gnarly. The wind today was pretty intense, and there were a few moments where it sort of got away from us, and Owen had to step in and fix things, which everything worked out really well. But yeah, there was at one point I was steering the boat, and we weren't doing anything with the rigging to steer. We were just sort of allowing the boat to go in the direction that the wind was taking us and trying to do that smoothly. And the direction that the wind took us was sideways to the waves, and all of a sudden we were being broadsided by these huge waves, and we lost the wind in the sail. And so that, you know, that was probably on me for letting that happen, but I was just going with the directions that I was given. You know, we got it done, but super fun. I'm headed back out here tomorrow for another day of sailing, and then we're doing the same thing next weekend as well. So honestly, where we'll take this, I'm not really 100% sure, but my dad and I were talking about how fun it would be to sail to the Channel Islands. How long term that is, how much practice we need, totally don't know. That seems kind of like a big step forward from taking one sailing class, but fun to dream. I'm headed home right now. I'm probably gonna go eat some real food first because all I've had today is that bagel sandwich for breakfast and then some slop that used to be a tortilla with banana, peanut butter, and honey that just got obliterated in my backpack and I was just eating it out of the bag. So gonna go have a real meal, and then I've got a 5-mile run that I'm supposed to do today. I'm gonna do that run and see how I feel after to decide if I'm gonna go to the gym for my bench session or not. I would love to get that done today so I can just have my straight rest day on Sunday, but we'll see because I'll be out sailing at least until 3 o'clock. I'm headed home right now and it's 3:45. So timing wise, I would really love to just hang out this afternoon. So we'll see. Quick check in here. Obviously I am not at the gym right now. I'm gonna push that to tomorrow, Sunday. I think I need some rest. I think it's okay as long as I'm just benching at the gym tomorrow to push it back a little bit. So gonna push that off to Sunday. We're gonna rest for the rest of the night and then we're off to go sailing in the morning. We'll see you then. Okay, it's gonna be a quick one this morning. I am off to the gym right now. I've got to sneak in a quick bench session before I head off to my sailing class. It is just around 8 o'clock right now, and so I've got maybe 30 minutes to get my chest workout in, head home, eat food, get prepped, drive 40 minutes to the harbor, and then get on the boat. So I need to get after it, but it's really, today's workout is just going to be bench. My sleep was last night. I think, being out in the sun all day plus having a 5-mile run later in the day definitely took a toll on me, and so I want today to be more chill than that because today was supposed to be just the straight rest day and it's not. I am benching today and I'm gonna be on a boat for the majority of the day as well, so got to take that into account. I want to get this workout in early in the day too, because when I get home I really just want to relax for the rest of the day and give my body some time to recover. I might even go to bed early tonight just to catch up on some sleep because we've got another solid week of training ahead of us. So let's go. We'll hit the gym. Video going up now. Okay, so this is the first week back on the 5-3-1 program. So we're doing 3x5 today on the bench. And this is normally not my bench day. Typically I'll bench earlier in the week, but I was just trying to squeeze in this bench press session. So this is literally all I did at the gym this day. The workout, what we had going here was first set 155 by 5, then 170 by 5, finally top set of 190 by 5, which I was super happy with in terms of how the weight was moving. That's a pretty heavy bench for me. I don't focus on my chest too much, so I think I'll take it, and once I start getting some heavier numbers here, I'm going to taper back on the upper body work. It's just not exactly what I need to focus on for some of my long-term goals, but definitely stokes the ego a little bit here. So pretty happy with this workout, and we're off for the rest of the day. Quick breakfast before we head out. All right, we're headed off to the sailing class right now. Just driving down Highway 1. I brought some snacks for today. We didn't really get a chance to eat or drink water yesterday, even though we were out on the water for like 4 hours. I managed to sneak in a couple of sips and bites here and there, but I brought these tortillas that were peanut butter and honey and banana, and that just does not travel well. When I went to go eat them, they were freaking obliterated in my bag, and I was just sort of eating the mush. So today, I brought an apple and some cookies. We'll see. Headed off though. I did some reading last night through one of the guidebooks that they gave us just to get some more info on this weather vane really thingy that sits on top of the mast. As we were going through it yesterday, the guy Owen, he was trying to describe how it functioned and what its use was, and honestly I just was not getting it at all, but the book does a really good job of describing what the purpose of the vane is. I'll take some video of it so you can see what I'm talking about. But the idea basically is the vane provides what's really like a no sail zone, which I think is around 90 degrees. It might be less than that, but essentially it's the position in which the boat is facing towards the wind that you can't just directly sail into. And so the main sail and the jib sail will start luffing, which is where they just start to shake and they're not really catching wind. And so if you're in that position, you know, you're not at a proper angle to create high and low pressure zones around the sail and sort of drag the boat. And so you would have to angle against that. You want to get out of that zone, which makes so much more sense than how he was describing it, because on top of the vane where they have this angle set is also an arrow, and the arrow, the purpose, and this is really the only part of it that he described, is that the arrow sets your perceived direction of wind. Not the actual direction of wind, but the perceived direction of wind, because you're moving through space. And so the fact that you're moving forward has some influence on the arrow as well. And I was like, why would anybody even use that then? That doesn't make any sense. So I understand the purpose now, and I think a big part of learning the position that the boat should be in is going to be about using that vane. Driving home from the boat class right now. That was a sick day. You know what? I got a ton of time at the helm of the boat, and although I'm still a little bit iffy on a lot of the terminology that gets used on the boat, I think I'm starting to understand it a little bit. At least to where, you know, if I had to go from point A to point B using just the wind, I think I could probably do it. You know, the guy who's teaching this class, he is such a trip because he's so aware of the wind and like what is going on, but he's also like a little bit aloof when it comes to how he should be like instructing people. You know, he'll say things and just assuming that we understand the context of it, but it's in a moment where you don't have time to like react. Like you don't have time to ask the question to get clarification. He's giving you a command and expecting you to understand what it means because he needs something done right away. It's odd, but it's been really fun. And I felt a little bit bad because I got a lot of time at the helm today compared to everyone else, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job of picking up how you're supposed to sail the boat, and something that I think I'm pretty good at is like reading the conditions. You know, I can make an inference. I can look at, you know, how somebody is doing something if they're considering that the right way, and then I can usually match that decently. You know, something that I talk about a lot is going from 0 to 1 on anything. So 0 to 1 is like the first step of going from a complete beginner, having never done something before, to doing it, right? And 1 could really be what you would consider like a basic level of competency. You're able to do the thing. And what's really interesting about getting to 1 is really what you're doing is you're sort of exploring the inside of an area with a barrier. I think of like a circle. So your job from getting to 0 to 1, which is doing the thing, is to figure out what exists within inside that circle. What's inside the circle? Your job is to figure out what's inside the circle. Once you know what's inside the circle, that's basic competency. You can do the thing. But then the next step is 1 to 2, which is taking the thing and then making it yours, right? Like extrapolating on that. And that's the part that I really struggle with. So this has been really interesting. You know, I'm still just exploring the circle right now, but already my mind is sort of swimming with ideas of what sailing could be as far as an activity goes. I would love to do this often. This is just another thing in my little grab bag of activities that I love to do and want to make my entire life about, but just don't have enough time to do. And that's a bit of a bummer to think about because fitness takes up so much time in my life and is such a driving force for me. Particularly running. You know, I want to get back to a place where I can go run another ultra and do something that's feeling really cool. You know, I want to go mountaineering and I want to go backcountry skiing and do all these things that require this excellent level of baseline fitness, and I sort of have an expectation of myself as what I would consider like back to normal, of going out and doing those things again, or even like running another ultra would make me feel like I'm whole again. But I'm really enjoying this, and there's a lot of things that I would love to do all the time, like mountain biking and sailing. So, you know, projecting into the future, you know, obviously I'm not going to start sailing every single weekend, but projecting into the future, it would be cool to do a race or a regatta, or, you know, get a small sailboat that I can take out into the harbor with some friends and go play around. Like, it's a really cool activity, and definitely something that I want to do more.